and welcome to Chai Chatter. On today's menu, we'll be discussing school during COVID with a side of chai tea. All right, ladies, it's October 2nd, 1 month of school so far. What are our thoughts?
It's all right.
That's pretty much how everyone feels. Sort of like,
Yeah,
we're there.
not gonna lie, the first 2 weeks I was hella depressed because everything, like nothing was happening. All of the extracurriculars was shut down, and it just felt like you like didn't get to see as many faces as usual.
I think for me, those first couple weeks, it wasn't like I felt depressed or anything. It just more felt like I was going through the motions of life. Like it was like, okay, I have to go here, I have to go there, I have to do this and that and every other thing. And it wasn't like I was like super pumped or super upset about it. I just was doing what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, I wasn't too sad about extracurriculars, maybe because I just wasn't, like, that involved in too many of them, but, like, I don't know, I guess I just kind of realized that, like, okay, well, I got to do it for, like, 3 years, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. I just kind of think about, like, it was like, okay, I guess we're not doing choir this year, but it's fine, you know, like, I had 3 years of choir, I know what it's like, you know?
Yeah.
I'm pretty easily adaptable, I'd say.
Yeah. Eventually to like cope with feeling depressed about it, I was just like, you know what? In my head, I already graduated March of last year. Those were my old bygone high school days. Now it's just some kind of purgatory.
Yeah.
And like, I guess because we're all in senior year, like the thought about like, this is the last stretch and we're supposed to be thinking about some kind of potential future made it a little bit better, because it was like, if I could just focus on this one thing, you know, I wouldn't have to feel sad about all the things that aren't happening this year. Yeah.
Also, I don't know, I'm kind of thankful also not to have extracurriculars, because that's just like one more thing. And especially this year, I've been noticing there's like a lot of things going on because you got to start applying for schools.
Oh, yeah.
People are starting to buy their prom dresses or their grad dresses already.
It feels like half the people have them
People
already.
have them already.
That's
yeah.
a little overwhelming. And then just wanting to do good in school in general and all that.
Speaking of wanting to do good in school, do we feel like it's easier with this quint system? First, maybe we should like explain what the quint system is here.
Okay, so for our quint system, what happens is you have only 2 classes at a time. That way you're with cohorts, you don't end up like mixing with as many people as you would if we had our usual 5 classes a day. So instead we have these 2 classes for 2 hours and 40 minutes. Still not great. And then we have that 2 hour and 40 minute class for 2 months, and then we switch. It's fine.
Yeah.
You don't see as many people, which is the point, but also it's kind of like, I won't see this friend until like January.
Yeah, it is like also with the quint system, depends on the class you have. So I have friends that like in history, they have history or something like that, and the class itself, even in a regular schedule, has barely any content. It's a lot of like work periods, just people napping or going on their phones. So for 2 hours and a half, that like, whereas there are also AP classes like we're taking where it's jam-packed, and with something like AP English, which we're all in the same class, usually what happens if it was just a regular kind of school schedule is we'd get an assignment and then we would be able to go home and think about it and be creative and then come back to school the next day and be able to work on it. Whereas here it's like you're allotted the time in the 2 hours and a half, so you have to come up with all your ideas then. So
I mean, it's easier in the sense that you don't have to focus on as many classes, it's just 2, so...
yeah.
But also it can be a bit much, like 2 hours and 40 minutes with a 10-minute break, but still, it's very long. And especially if you're doing a lot of the same thing, like both of my classes, the morning and afternoon class, are both like language classes, French and English.
Right.
So it's a lot of the same stuff, like all day.
For me, I was talking to someone and we were saying about how we're both people who like occasionally will like fall behind, but then once we fall behind, that's when we start getting like stuck in it and not being able to drag ourselves out. And what we were saying was this is almost like better for people like us because you can't be behind in 3 classes if you only have 2 classes.
Yeah, and like because the quint is so short, it's like you fall behind now, you will never be able to get back.
Just 1 month in, everything has to be in so far. So you can't fall more than like a couple weeks behind before you're told, okay, you have to have everything in. And I only like, right now I think I have like one thing that's past due, and like that's not that bad because I'm constantly like, okay, I have to be on time now because we don't have the time to catch up.
Yeah, and they also got rid of the incentive, which
You should explain
Yeah,
what
what
the
that
incentive
is.
okay,
Not
oh
everyone
right,
has
okay. In our redacted school system, whoopsies, we have a system that is built to incentivize students to attend classes, like not be late for them and show up to classes, because studies show that students that attend classes regularly get better grades. They're more equipped in their future academic endeavors, and they actually get the contents of the course. So how it works, I think, is last year they changed it to just 9 excused absences in total, right? So you're allowed 9 excused absences in total per semester for a class, and you have 3 lates and 3 missing assignments.
Yes.
And then the incentive before, it was that on your final exam, if you got a lower grade than your average grade, then it wouldn't be counted. But last year they implemented that the incentive made it so that if you had it, you wouldn't have to take the exam at all, which a lot of
like that.
teachers...
I did not like that. That was
No, like...
Not because I'm a nerd who just likes doing finals. I don't, trust me. But, like, the system, it honestly just punishes people who, like, miss school. And it might not even because they're slacking off. Like, if you're sick or something, or if you're, like, involved in a bunch of, like, extracurriculars or something, or...
Yeah.
Like, you just don't know what people have going on at home or whatever. So it's really just punishing them for, like... to me, it seems like missing 9 days, like, that seems a little much. Yeah, it's not that much. It's not fair.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with not having an incentive.
There was one show that I had where I missed 4 days in 1 week. I showed up on the Tuesday. I missed 4 days in 1 week because I was in a show, and then I was like, that's basically my incentive. I do multiple shows a year usually. Not as much this year because we're doing them online.
Wait, sorry to interrupt. You're doing a show online, like a musical?
We're going to... Well, we're going to figure out the logistics of it.
Oh, maybe explain your like, the... what a show means, like,
so
theater company.
I do musical theater. It might be some plays this year because it's easier to do online. And so usually I do, like, for me, 2 to 3 shows, but the whole company 3 to 4 shows a year. Except this year, we can't do them in person because the theater that we have been using recently, they aren't opening up at all. So they were like, sorry, you can't do anything. So we might be pre-recording our shows, not necessarily chronologically. We might do like part of filming a show one day and part another day. And then we're going to either live stream the show, or we are going to just be able to basically like sell it out for people to watch it, like either in a allotted time slot or just like maybe get to keep our version of the show. But that is all it's very hard with copyrights. It's so hard.
With the incentive, it's okay. So I think having it was a privilege that we really didn't need. It wasn't necessarily whether we have it or not, but it was the feeling of losing it that added that extra stress on to people that had a lot of extracurriculars, or maybe they have health issues, or maybe they, like they have to travel to some other country for blah, blah, blah. And it created worries from losing it, not, if you never had it in the first place, you would have eliminated that stress and everything would have kind of equaled out, right?
I didn't have mine in the first place, and then all of a sudden I lose it. I'm like, I don't even have the chance anymore. Like, I would occasionally have it for a couple classes. Yeah. But just because I'm never there, it's like...
And I guess the punishment for missing a class enough is the fact that you just have to catch up. And if you're a student that's able to juggle all of those things and catch up, then you're just adding on to the, But yeah, that's enough about the incentive.
Yeah,
it's a whole other can of worms. Yeah. So how do we feel the whole social distancing measures, like whether they actually work? Because we wear masks, but the moment people go outside, comes right off. Or like I remember on the first week of school, everybody sat outside on the lawn eating their lunches without masks.
And it was like hundreds of people out on this lawn, all sitting right together. It looked like a sardine can of people just all sitting next to each other eating, and then they were like, they can't do anything about it. Especially, we were sitting over on like the grass in front of a building beside the school, they can't tell us not to because we're no longer on school property. There's nothing that they could do to stop us. And in that way, the whole cohort system of having us with the same people for as long as possible and having as little like contact with other people, you're still going to be in contact with your friends. I still see people I have no classes with. And they can't do anything about it. So is it worth having the cohorts? Is it worth trying to separate people and say only one person in the bathroom at a time?
Yeah.
I think it is. I think that they could do more with, again, at lunchtime. I think that lunchtime is the biggest concern. I agree. Because right now it's just kind of either I think the options are like go outside, and some days it can be really cold, or is there like a lunchroom? I don't know. I don't
there's no lunchroom.
Oh, okay. Like, do people just sit on the floor?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's an issue.
And what happens is, so teachers will be patrolling the building, right? And so you'll be like eating, and if you're not far enough away from people as you're eating without your mask on, then they will like call you out on it. And
okay.
Yeah, it's...
Because they want you to be 6 feet apart from anyone whenever you have your mask off. Which is, like, yes, of course, that is, like, the guidelines we've been given. Except then, when you think about it, you're in a hallway that's, like, not even 6 feet wide, really.
Just burped, I'm sorry.
We'll cut that part out.
I don't care. I mean, it's natural, whatever.
You know what? my Hamlet parody is gonna be about farting, and I'm not ashamed of it.
Okay. I wrote a song called Fecal Matters.
Yes, you know what?
Really
you know what?
you.
It's actually the next level of being intellectual is when you regress back to the most childish topics.
That's true.
Finding depth in the worst of things is the mark of a true scholar.
Anyways,
yeah,
where was I?
Cohorts, effectiveness. Honestly, I think throughout the year, as it continues on, things will get a lot more lax. So in the hallway, we are instructed to keep to the right side, right? But the other day when I was going to the bathroom, there were a group of teachers just huddling and chatting in the middle of the hallway. And it's like but no, it's like not really anything on them. There's just a lot of them all kind of at once. So I'm like, that rule is already kind of starting to fall off, and the whole not, sitting with people outside of your cohort during lunch, that's already not been a thing at all.
Although I will say, devil's advocate over here, I do think it's important that we're doing all of this because, well, think about like when they said we weren't going to be wearing masks at school. There was an outcry in our province. People, like, petitions everywhere. People were, like, criticizing the government all over for saying we aren't going to wear masks.
Yeah, well, that was stupid of them to say that.
That was really stupid.
It was really dumb.
The entire plan that they rolled out was really lackluster. Like, they had this part where it's like, limit physical contacting, no high fives, no hugs. Okay. Like, I mean, it was just very much like, oh, you want a COVID plan? Well, here's a COVID plan. We came up with this.
But it wasn't a plan. It was, here's what the CDC said, so just don't do anything that, like, is against their thing, except we aren't going to make anything mandatory.
Yeah. And the whole, it is kind of crazy to think about that we actually weren't required to wear masks.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Like,
that was, on behalf of whoever.
Well, even if they didn't, I'm sure I would at least hope that a lot of people would anyways. But
I put a poll up on my story asking who was all going to wear masks when it wasn't mandatory. So the majority of people did say yes because, I mean, our province was super, like, adamant about we want to wear masks.
Yeah, except for no masks, Saskatchewan.
But then there were a couple people our age who said no. No one from our school, I noticed. I understand it was all people from other places, but I was looking at it and I was like, I honestly was almost in my mind, I'd convinced myself that not a single one of us would say, oh no, I don't want to wear a mask, but then I see those people vote on my thing, and I'm like, oh.
And you know what is so sad nowadays is that the choice to wear a mask or not wear a mask has become political. It's a political statement, right? Like, it's the same as wearing a hat, like, that's...
in the classroom.
Or whatever else. It's like, I choose not to wear a mask, and somehow that's become a partisan issue. Like, you represent this party's ideas if you don't wear a mask. Which I think it's most likely the fault of the states. They have all of that stuff going on there, and it's kind of, affected everywhere else. I think it has to do with the worldview that you have, because some people that are adamant about not wearing masks, they think about, breathing is a freedom that I have. And, there was this, if you guys have seen like the Florida hearings, there's this one lady in Florida that was like, so first you guys were talking about George Floyd, how this man couldn't breathe and that every human deserves the right to breathe. And now you're trying to mask us up.
Girl.
It was oh my
God. Those are such different issues. It's almost like infuriating to hear that. Like, it's like...
Yeah. Also, I heard this somewhere. I don't know if it's true. But apparently people who are saying that, like, they can't breathe, or they feel like they can't breathe in their masks, apparently it's, like, an illusion or something. And, like, the way to just combat that is just to breathe out of your nose. Like, I don't know. Like, do you know about this?
Yes, I do, actually. I learned about it recently. Because I was like... I saw it and I was like, okay, that makes more sense. I was thinking that people were just, like, being, like... I thought it was all just in your head of the... I can't breathe in this. I thought it was like that sort of thing where they just like had like made themselves believe they can't breathe. But what it is when you wear a mask, you start to want to breathe through your mouth. And when you're breathing through your mouth, you're trying to get more air. And that the fact that you're trying to breathe through your mouth is what tricks your brain that you don't have enough air. And then that puts you into flight or fright, which is not at all what's happening. What's happening is you're like, I have something on my face. I should breathe through my mouth. And then your brain's like, you're breathing through your mouth. You must need more air.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. Okay, that's...
Yeah, it's a whole long thing. Yeah. But it has nothing to do with how much you're actually breathing. It just is the fact that you have something on your face that your mouth wants to open.
Yeah, and the quality of your mask is makes such a huge difference. Like, and you guys will know, like, on the first good half month of September, I was struggling to find, number one, a mask that fits, and number two, like, a mask that wasn't just super duper thick. And, like, Kate, God bless her, like, she actually bought me one, and it's so good. It's like breathable, but also, covers, and it doesn't fall off the face and stuff. And just investing in a good mask, you just need one. It makes all the difference.
Yeah, I wonder if this year, because, like, I don't know when Fashion Week is, I wonder if, like, designers are gonna make, like, designer masks.
That's all I want. All I want
some
is to
cute
see
masks.
Super cute masks on runways and be like, oh my god.
I know.
I bet some kids will pull up with like Gucci masks at school and make everybody else feel poor.
Can we laugh at them, please?
Yeah.
Like, you spent that much on a mask? Okay.
Yeah.
That better not just improve your breathing quality, it better be like some Mount Fuji clear air filter.
One of those masks that has like lavender slots in it.
Yeah.
That sounds good. I mean, I would invest in that. Yeah, no, the only masks I have right now are just like plain black ones. I ordered like some cool funky ones from like Old Navy, but like I ordered it in like beginning of August. Still isn't here. Like, I don't know if I'll ever be receiving it.
Yeah.
My mom has this issue where she keeps on being like, I should order more masks. So the thing is, I have like 5 masks of my own, and I like those. I cycle through them. I wash them like constantly. I usually try to only wear a mask once and then I wash it. I have enough masks that I can cycle through. Except that my mom, she started off trying to make her own masks. She didn't like them. So then she bought some and she was like, right with them, bought more, and she liked them better. And then she's like, maybe I want this style. Now she has like 100 masks of her own, or not 100, that's an exaggeration, like 40 masks that are just hers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can't wear that many masks. Why do you keep ordering more?
Like, I would say you probably like maximum need 3 masks, I guess, for just like at least what we're doing at school. But
I think you need maximum 7 masks, 1 for every day of the week. Except then you also can get different colors and styles and that sort of stuff. I have different colors, so I match them to my outfits. I want to look funky, so.
Right. That was a consideration. And then I was like, I have one good mask. I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's like a certain minimum or maximum amount of masks you need, as long as you like wash them as much as you can. As long as you're cleanly about it.
Now we'll just move on to another like side topic, which is what is new in the month of September. So I think off of the boredom in quarantine, at the very beginning of the school year, all of these confession accounts kind of popped up around Regina. There's one for like every single high school.
every single
and like initially when you look at a confession account, it's supposed to be like something about yourself, right? Like, I blah 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 today wink wink nudge nudge or whatever, but actually it's kind of become like a Gossip Girl situation where you call people out, or you
spread rumors
or you just generally say like, I don't like this person because their face is weird or whatever else. And like, how do you feel about that?
I feel like most of because there's multiple accounts, there's a lot of them. I feel like some of them are more harmful than others. Like, there are some where it's honestly just like the insults are so bad it's laughable. Like, I honestly couldn't imagine that like anyone could be hurt by this. Maybe they are, but like that seems harmless to me. But there are some comments and like some accounts where they're a bit more severe, and that's kind of where the issue comes in.
People who someone will say something about them, and then suddenly there's a whole bunch coming on about this one person, and then it's like, oh, it's not very cool at all.
Like, what I think is happening now is, number one, some of them are getting a bit less active, and number two is that because there are so many conflicting rumors about people, they tend to take what's said on these accounts with a grain of salt, and if you take them less seriously and give them less weight, then it kind of helps, like, you know, the feeling bad about yourself part. But then there's like a whole range of things, like slut shaming. There's so and so is cute, that's cool. There's like I
hate this person with every fiber of my being.
or like I heard so and so did this today. Or there's ones about people going to the bathroom. It's like, you know,
or other things happening in the bathroom.
Other things happening in the bathroom. It's like, there was like one account that was especially like really, really toxic, and that one I just kind of unfollowed. I only like keep up with one of them.
I think the reason I follow two. I think the reason I still follow the really harsh one is like, what if they say something, not necessarily about me. I don't think that I cause enough like drama. But like, what about someone I know? What if someone says something about someone I know and I feel the need to tell them and be like, hey, by the way, just...
And when this was really, really prevalent, I just kind of thought back to how it was like to be in high school in freshman year, and just like, you already fear judgment and you already fear that people will judge you and talk about you. But it's this where it's like, people are able to have judgments about you and also put it on a megaphone for everybody to see, even people that have no idea about who you are in the first place. And whether they take it seriously or not, that's still up there forever, like on record.
On the cruel one, even on their thing, I think so. On their thing, doesn't it say something like, no takebacks, if you send something to me, it's on here forever or something?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And it goes the other way too. It's like, we all in our daily lives, like if we're exhausted or just especially having a bad day that day, we have some like crappy thoughts sometimes, like mean thoughts about people. You know, there usually is a filter for you to calm down and be like, you know what, the next day you wake up, it's not as big of a deal. But if in this moment you take out your phone and you're like, I'm gonna submit this thing that I feel in this moment, then that thought is also captured and out in the world for people to see. And it's just really, really scary, I guess. Especially if you're somebody younger and kind of fearing judgment already from people. It must not be very comfortable, because everywhere you walk in the school, you're like, I can't even go to the bathroom in peace. What if somebody says, I go to the bathroom too loudly or something, and then they write about me, like, you know?
I don't know. I feel like just like the best thing to do... No, this isn't the best thing to do. I was just gonna say, just like send in just like really dumb shit, so that this just like so that like their like inbox or whatever just gets like, you know, saturated, which is like the weird
dilute
stuff.
it.
Yeah, no, exactly. So that like the actual harmful stuff gets drowned out.
I actually sent a message to one of the confession accounts, and I was like, people really saw confessions and read it as call outs.
Yeah.
And they never posted it. What wimps.
They never posted it.
Couldn't never take it. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully that will die off as the year goes on and people realize that, like, number one, they do start not taking it very seriously.
Yeah.
Or number two, they just kind of forget about the fact that it exists, and then, you know, because I think it's just, it was born out of boredom, and yeah.
And then once, like, you've said what you wanted to say about someone, like, why repeat it? So then, like...
Exactly.
That's the thing. Yeah, this thing, I'm not really too worried about it. It's gonna die out. You can only call someone a slut so many times before it gets redundant, you know?
Yeah.
And then, like, people were, like, posting, like, all of their feelings from the last X amount of years about these people, and now it's like, okay, well, that's all the stuff I've had.
So yeah, we decided to downgrade our camera and audio quality, not because my camera died, but because it was a creative choice.
Yeah, well, okay, well now it's awkward again. Whatever, we'll just cut this little moment right here. Okay. Alright guys, that's our time. Thank you for watching. If you have any topics that you want us to speak about in the next episode, leave them down below in the comments section. And thank you for listening to us get deep while our tea steeps.
Cheers!
Cheers!